Before we begin the sample story, we need to name our characters. So we shall name the boy Jack and his sister Fiona. Okay, then let's start the story. We will start off with paragraph 1, which is the introduction. Okay. The lift door slid open heavily, and Jack stepped out with an equally heavy heart. It had been a long day. Jack had CCA and tuition after school, and even though he was exhausted, he was reluctant to go home. Why should he? His family did not need nor want him. Paragraph 2 now. Paragraph 2 will actually highlight the problem that Jack is facing, why he is reluctant to go home. As Jack trudged towards his apartment, dragging his feet along the ground, he thought about how his parents must wonder why their son had turned out like that. Unlike his sister Fiona, who was smart, always placed within the top 3 positions in the level, he was struggling with his studies. Fiona needed no help to ace her examinations, whereas although Jack's schedule was loaded with group tuition classes and private tuition, there was a very real possibility that he would end up in the normal stream. So now we know why Jack was reluctant to go home. He was unhappy because he was not doing well in school, and he thought that his parents did not love him because of that. Okay, so then now we will go on to the climax of the story, the highlight of the story, paragraph 3. For the umpteenth time, Jack wondered why he found it so difficult to do well in his studies. Facts would not stick in his mind. After memorizing a list, he would forget it 5 minutes later. Models confuse him. They make no sense whatsoever. A memory of his mother's disappointed face when she saw his last test paper flash across his mind, and Jack felt like a knife was stabbed into his heart and twisted in deeper. Jack made up his mind. He would run away. When he reached home, he would empty his piggy bank, pack his clothes, and run away. He would not need to study anymore, see his parents' disappointment, and be compared unfavorably with Fiona. There's a typo here. Take note that this pack here, there should be no ed, okay, because of the modal would in front here. I will leave a note later on in the post, so take note of that. Okay, then let's move on to paragraph 4, whereby we will actually do the twist. So here's the climax. Because Jack, thinking that his parents didn't love him as much, he had come to the decision to run away. So in paragraph 4, we are going to introduce the twist, okay? With his mind made up, Jack turned the doorknob and swung the door open. Okay, this double slash here, you notice that there are further double slashes below. What this actually means is, you should leave a paragraph here. And the rationale for leaving a paragraph is because of the speech, okay? The right way to do speech is speech should be in a paragraph by itself actually. Okay, in the PSLE, you won't be penalized if you don't do that. But actually, if you learn the right thing, even though you're only in primary 6, why not do it the right way, right? So you are highly encouraged to do the paragraphing correctly with speech. Okay, so leave a paragraph and then we have the speech here. You are back, his father said. So after that, then leave another paragraph. So we actually can leave another, start off with another paragraph, so that this next paragraph is actually Jack's reaction to his father, to seeing his father home. Jack was surprised to see his father seated on the sofa reading the newspaper. His father usually returned home only when it was dark. Why was he home so early today? So because we have another speech below, so we will start off another new paragraph, okay? Happy birthday, Jack's mother and sister said loudly, emerging from the kitchen his mother carrying a brightly decorated box in her hands. Jack was stunned. He had been so preoccupied with his unhappiness that he had forgotten that today was his birthday. So now we will move on to the development of the story. Now that Jack realized that, and he was touched that his parents and his sister actually prepared a birthday present, a birthday celebration for him, okay, what happens? Okay. So paragraph 5. Your birthday is in the box, Jack's mother told him. But to make it a surprise for you, I'll cover your eyes while you reach in. Let's see if you can guess what your present is. If you get it right, Fiona says she has something for you too. Okay, so end of Mom's speech. Let's start off the next part as another paragraph. Jack's eyes were shining with joy when he nodded in agreement. He sat down on the armchair, shut his eyes, and at the same time his mother covered them. Jack heard his father's heavy footsteps and some rustling beside him, and knew his father had placed the box on the side table next to him. Jack stretched his hand into the box. He fumbled for a few seconds until he touched a small, furry and trembling body. It had long ears. Okay, and because the next part we're going to have Jack speaking, so then double paragraph again. It's a rabbit, Jack declared joyfully. So here we have the birthday celebration. Okay, and now we will conclude the story, whereby Jack will have learned his mistaken thoughts, and come to the rightful conclusion. Jack knew he was right even before he opened his eyes because he heard Fiona clapping gleefully. When Jack opened his eyes, he saw a white rabbit in the box, its nose quivering frantically. Jack was suffused with a warm happiness that started from his heart and spread throughout him, chasing away the cold tendrils of unhappiness that had coiled around him. His bliss was complete when Fiona gave him a book by his favorite author. Speech again, so new paragraphing. I knew you would get it right. You're smart, girl, she said. At that moment, Jack realized his family loved and treasured him, and that his earlier thoughts were most foolish, and his eyes grew moist. As long as he tried his best for his PSLE, his parents would accept his results. I'll try harder, so as not to let you down, he promised his parents silently. Okay, for this last part here, I did not actually put it into a new paragraph because it's not really speech. You see this word silently, it's more like his thoughts. So because they are not real speech, so that's why I've left them in the same paragraph as the earlier two bullets. Okay, so here's the sample story. Again, not cast in stone. If you have your own ideas, feel free to use them. And if you want to amend or reorganize the points as long as they make sense. Okay. Then for the last part, for the description of happiness, you can actually see the see video 3 below.